the 36 and the 6. That's the nodal polarity for today with Ra Uruhu.
The 36-6 nodal polarity. This is at its very best a difficult environment in which to find one's purpose. And when I say that it's a difficult environment to find one's purpose, that isn't to say that truly it's any different than any other environment. However, from the outside, looking in at it, it appears to be an uncomfortable environment in which to develop. The 36th gate is a gate of conflict. The 36th gate, the darkening of the light, is a gate of crisis and an experience. And yet clearly this is an environment, like all nodal environments, that is the precise environment necessary for the fulfillment of whatever the purpose happens to be in its cross and profile structure. When we're dealing with the 6, we're dealing with the fundamental design component of progress, the law that growth cannot exist without friction. Now, of course, the 6th gate is part of the channel of intimacy. That is it's harmonic gate. The 59th gate is the genetic imperative for bonding. This is a channel that is about the potential fertility and reproductive capacity of humanity. And the 6th gate is very much related to whether or not we are open or not, opened or closed to intimacy. And it is the 6th gate in its emotional context. And again, here we're dealing with an emotional environment. And I think that this is one of the things that makes this polarity as a stage upon which the life is set, one in which there is no release from emotional tension and the emotional wave. And in dealing with the 6, one has to see that if this is your south node phase, then it's very clear that what you're going to see around you in the environment and what you're going to see, and remember, when I talk about this environment, I'm talking about the people that populate the environment. And these beings that populate the environment are going to be caught up in friction. One is going to have to develop and find one's purpose in an environment where human beings are in conflict, where human beings, the conflict in and of itself results in friction. And yet the very conflict can be productive. In other words, out of that very conflict and friction can come the potential of new life, can come the potential of growth, can come the potential of development. But it does mean that, when you're meeting somebody who has this as a nodal configuration, that it's clear that, the beings that are around them in their life, one cannot expect to enter into a peaceful and prosaic environment, because it's not going to be there. This is going to be an environment that is going to be full of tension. On the other side, of course, we have the 36th gate, which is the gate of crisis, the rules of cycles in which decline is a natural but not an enduring stage. And of course, one gets to see that in the environment around them, that there are all these beings that, that get to see that the experience of life can be devastating, that there isn't necessarily progress at the end of the line. In other words, that this combination of the 6 and the 36, these are beings that are going to have to find their purpose in an environment that is full of trauma, that is full of crisis, and an environment that is highly sexual in its content. In other words, that sexuality is going to be very much a part of the background of this particular process. Regardless of whether you're moving from the 36 to the 6 or the 6 to the 36, the thing to keep in mind about the nodal environment is that it is not about whether the nodal environment in and of itself, isolated as we are isolating them here, is this or that, whether it's a good environment or a difficult environment or a fascinating environment, or, as in this case, an environment that is very much connected to the emotional turmoil of the difficulties of life, of the commonality of conflict and friction, and the deep fears of experiential failure, and the dilemmas and inadequacies of an experience. The real key is simply to operate correctly as oneself. If this is your nodal configuration and you're operating correctly according to your authority and your strategy, then you will fulfill your purpose. And this as an environment will not be one in which you measure against others, but will be the perfect environment for you to find your purpose.